Call of Duty's ranked mode is awfully designed. It's not meant to give you a viable competitive experience, it's not meant to reward you for being good at the game, and it's not meant to have integrity. Like most things in COD, it's meant for player retention and addiction, and by that standard, it's rigged. Let me explain. Modern Warfare 3's ranked mode uses something called hidden MMR. MMR stands for matchmaking rank, and being hidden means that only the matchmaking algorithm knows what your matchmaking rank is. You can't see it. MMR is essentially just your skill rating, and just to add to the silliness, this same rating is also used in public matches to the same degree it is in ranked. Now, before I get started, here's the best COD player in the world talking about how hidden MMR is a horrible idea in ranked before I get started.
There's no way this is how ranked is supposed to be. There shouldn't be a hidden MMR inside of ranked. What the f is the point of ranked if there's a hidden MMR? It just doesn't make sense. It's like skill-based matchmaking in public games. Why the f would you have skill-based in a public game?
Now, this is immediately where the first problem arises. When you're matched in a rank mode by hidden MMR first, and then rank as a secondary parameter, it completely takes away any kind of integrity that a ranked mode has. Let's say, for example, it is the start of a season, and you, along with the rest of the player base, are in bronze. When you queue up for a match, you're not actually able to match against every single player that's in bronze. You're only able to match against players that have a hidden MMR that's near enough to yours within that rank, and a little bit outside of your rank. So, despite the entire population of players being ranked in bronze at the start of a season, you can only experience the game with a tiny percentage of them, because the hidden MMR takes away a vast majority of your play options, given as it's heavily prioritized. Imagine that you're an iridescent player from the previous season. Now you're in bronze again at the start of the next season, but you're only playing against other previously iridescent level players as well, meaning that you're playing the most stiff competition in the entire game, but you're in the lowest rank. That doesn't make a lick of sense. Additionally, let's say you're not that good at the game and you're in bronze at the start of the season. Now, instead of facing that previously mentioned intense competition, you're facing other players who may have the same lack of skill that you do. So, two players in bronze can be in the same league, but one is playing against the top 10% exclusively, and the other is playing against the bottom 10% exclusively. In the context of a ranked mode, it doesn't make any sense. Instead of being matched with other players by rank, you're being matched based on hidden MMR, or your skill rating, that you don't know, and your actual rank is highly secondary. This kind of system creates two fundamental problems. Number one, it invalidates the meaning of each rank, because within each rank, there is a huge skill disparity, regardless of the rank you're talking about. Just like bronze has extremely high-level players and low-level players at the start of a season. Instead of each rank having a discernible skill and competency level, and growing past that level allows you to rank up, you rank up solely on the basis that you beat players of your own exact skill level, whether you're a great player or not so great. This ties into number two, which is the fact that it eliminates any semblance of the rewarding nature of a ranked mode. It doesn't reward improvement because you're constantly playing people with very similar skills to you, regardless of your rank. And if you improve, your competition is just going to get proportionally more difficult, but your rank stays exactly the same. In other words, instead of allowing you to rank up when you surpass the skill ceiling of a particular rank, the game punishes you for improving, because as soon as you improve, you don't promote in rank. You just play higher level players within that same rank. Your improvement and skill level is not at all reflected in your rank. So these are obviously two huge problems. So how do other games mitigate this problem? And why doesn't COD mitigate this problem? Well, to start, games with any competitive integrity don't use hidden MMR, and more critically, use what are called placement matches, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. Placement matches allow players to have their skills evaluated, and based on that evaluation, they're placed in the rank that best embodies their skills. This does two very positive things. Firstly, it allows each rank to have a defined skill and competency level. That is, you can tell the difference between a platinum and a bronze player because one player clearly demonstrates better mechanics and skills. Secondly, it allows you to quickly rank up once you gain the skills necessary to break out of your current rank. It is a very healthy competitive environment because it rewards skill improvement with promotions. Players being ranked based on their skill and matched together exclusively within their rank with other players with similar skill offers a much more competitively viable ecosystem. On the flip side, you have the way COD handles it, which does the opposite of what placement matches accomplish. First, because everyone starts in the same place and has to climb, but only plays against players of their own skill level while doing so, each rank does not have a discernible average skill level. Every rank has really good players, mediocre players, and bad players. Now, you can argue that the higher ranks, like Crimson and Iridescent, are only composed of good players, and while that's probably the case, my argument still very much stands for the first 5 ranks at at least. And the only reason the higher ranks are filled with exclusively good players is because they're the ones that want to put in the most time. This all happens because you're matched based on hidden MMR, not rank, and there are no placement matches. This takes away the definition ranks have, and there can easily be no difference in skill between a bronze and a diamond player, or inversely, an average level diamond player that plays ranked more could get smoked by a really good bronze player that just doesn't happen to play ranked that much. It hilariously doesn't make any sense, and as absurd as that example sounds, it's entirely realistic. Further, if you're a great player starting in bronze, you're playing against really tough competition the entire time it takes to get to gold, for example. If you're an average player, you're playing average level competition the entire time it takes to get to gold. The point is, because the journey to each rank is different for every level of player because of your hidden MMR being measured, ranks have no discernible or fair skill disparities. Ranks are based mostly on your time investment because your competition getting there is constantly equal to you, regardless of the rank that you're in. A mediocre player who grinds to platinum had an entirely different experience than a very skilled player grinding to platinum. And in a ranked mode, that doesn't make any sense. They're in the same rank, yet both face significantly disproportionate levels of challenges in order to actually get there. It has no competitive integrity whatsoever. Improvement is not rewarded. Actually, the lower your hidden MMR, the less challenging it is to rank up, which means that technically you are fully able to reverse boost in Call of Duty's ranked mode and still somehow rank up multiple times. Any game with a good ranked mode will have two fundamental principles that I covered earlier. One, players are matched exclusively based on their rank alone and are placed there by placement matches, which is an evaluation of skill. And two, improvement is rewarded by a promotion because you've surpassed the skill ceiling of your rank. Once players learn to improve past that skill ceiling, they will be able to promote into the next rank, which they've earned and deserve. In a good ranked mode that has integrity, your rank actually means something and accurately reflects your current skill level. COD's ranked mode goes against these two fundamental principles. One, you're matched by hidden MMR, which, as we discussed earlier, creates vast skill disparities within every rank, taking away the definition of each rank and invalidating the meaning of being a certain rank. And two, improvement is punished, because instead of surpassing your rank skill ceiling, allowing you to promote, you're instead instantly matched with better players without changing your rank at all, making your journey to the next rank not easier, but much more difficult. So now that we've established that COD's ranked mode is fundamentally flawed and is horrendously designed, we must ask, why is this a thing? Why have a ranked mode without placement matches where ranks are meaningless and where your improvement is punished? Well, it all circles back to player retention, as most everything in COD is about nowadays. But you're saying, wait, hold on, how can a ranked system so objectively terrible breed player retention? Well, this is going to shock you and scare you. We have to remember that this same system is present within public matches as well. COD is no stranger to hidden MMR because that's exactly what's been used in pubs for the last 6 years. Except we're missing a key detail that we're now going to apply to the ranked mode, which should scare you a little. All signs point to Call of Duty using EOMM, or Engagement Optimized Matchmaking, which, if you're unfamiliar, is a matchmaking algorithm that puts you into matches that are the most likely to keep you engaged in the game. This matchmaking is based on research by the people who invented it that shows that inconsistent results breed a higher amount of player retention. For example, consistent losses render the player twice as likely to get off the game than if they experienced a draw, loss, and then a win. All you need to know is that it's a matchmaking algorithm that throws you rigged matches to make you perform a certain way, to force a certain result on you and keep you more interested in the game that way. And in the study, they've actually compared it to other forms of matchmaking, such as connection-based matchmaking, random matchmaking, and skill-based matchmaking. And in practice, it outperforms all of them. Now, here's the real scary part. Say that I want to throw a player a loss, another loss, and then a win, because within this data, it's shown to have the smallest risk of the player getting off the game. What parameters must I take into account in order to guarantee this player has this string of results? Well, if you couldn't guess, the most important parameter I have to take into account is their skill level, because otherwise, how would I throw them a match that's guaranteed to force a loss on them? I'd have to somehow measure their skill level, turn it into a numerical value, and then throw them into a game where they're inherently at a disadvantage. Or maybe I'll put them into a match where their bullet damage is slightly handicapped, or more notably, and Modern Warfare 3 players can relate to this, their spawns are so bad to the point where they can't possibly perform well because they're spawning in front of people, too far away from the objective, or they're just getting killed from their opponents revenge spawning. Long story short, the number one parameter taken into account to force results on you to breed player retention is your skill level. And ironically, let's not forget that hidden MMR is your skill rating. If you were able to see your hidden MMR on the lobby screen before a match, you could easily tell if a game was meant to be extremely competitive, like this game, where everyone's hidden MMR is almost exactly the same, thus resulting in an extremely competitive match where everyone almost has the same skill level, or extremely one-sided, like a guaranteed win, like this example, or a loss, where one team's skill level is heavily in favor because they're just better, or well-balanced, which almost never happens, that has a variety of skill levels on every team. There's a reason your MMR is hidden. It's because if it were visible, there would be clear proof that you're intended to have a certain experience within every single match. This is what Activision wants. But we have to understand that hidden MMR is the foundation for rigged games. It is the foundation for EOMM, a well-known rigged matchmaking practice that Call of Duty undoubtedly uses. And we know they use it because 1, matches take forever to find because they're trying to find an engaging match. 2, your ping is routinely awful because it's sacrificing your connection to give you a more engaging match. And 3, the player experience suggests that most matches are extremely competitive, or they just get rigged spawns, rigged damage, or other rigged parameters that force a certain result on them regardless of the match. So we have to wonder, if EOMM can breed player retention in pubs, what's stopping it from doing that in ranked? Likewise, why wouldn't they use it in ranked if they already use it in pubs and it's shown to work? After all, in ranked, if you can't recall, we're matched exclusively by hidden MMR, and rank is incredibly secondary. If you're in bronze, you can match with anyone up to around platinum as long as their hidden MMR is around the same as yours. This doesn't make any sense in regards to a ranked mode. So while rank isn't totally disregarded, it holds very little significance, as we established much earlier. Additionally, isn't it a little strange how there are no placement matches and instead everyone starts in bronze and matches based on hidden MMR in order to rank up the entire time? This is certainly about player retention. Starting at the very bottom means that you'll have to work harder to climb to the top, obviously, instead of being fairly placed on a rung in the competitive ladder that accurately reflects your skill level based on placement matches. This means that players have to play for longer to rank up. As a result, this ends up giving Activision player retention. But this is where it actually gets a little terrifying. What is mainly reliant on hidden MMR in order to breed higher amounts of player retention? What single-handedly ruins the public match experience? And what is in their best interest to use in ranked in order to retain players for longer? What fits this goal of player retention perfectly? And if they're going purely for player retention, would be stupid not to use it? Well, you guessed it, EOMM. Yes, what I'm trying to tell you is that every single sign, every questionable attribute of COD's ranked mode is only there because Call of Duty uses engagement optimized matchmaking within its ranked mode as well. Hidden MMR allows you to be thrown into matches where your result is guaranteed because you can artificially set up certain skill disparities between teams, forcing results. And if you're trying to climb the ranks, slowing you down on purpose by throwing you a game with other players that are conveniently 7 times your ranked level or conveniently 3 ranks above you with the intent to make you lose that match is a guaranteed way to retain players that are climbing the ranks. You're slowing down their progress towards their ultimate goal of reaching their desired rank. And since these are the more competitive players, they're almost guaranteed not to give up if they're unaware of what's going on. If they're going for player retention, it would be highly counterproductive to not also throw in EOMM on top of these pre-existing practices that are designed to retain players as well. So even though hidden MMR in a ranked mode is a big no-no, they've not only done it within their ranked mode, but they've made it increasingly obvious that their ranked mode is purely about player retention by designing it to allow even bad and mediocre players to climb to higher ranks without as great of a challenge as good players, and forcing everyone to start on ground zero instead of using placement matches to measure their skill. But what glues all these pieces together is the ranked experience in general. From the games that I've played personally, I can tell you that there is something definitely going on that throws you matches you're guaranteed to lose. And even though I've only played ranked a few times, the bronze lobbies I've gotten were just as sweaty as my public matches. And in pubs, I'm consistently matching against Crimson players, iridescent players, or top 250 players. It doesn't make any sense unless hidden MMR is being used. Additionally, after my team and I won a good amount of games, we were thrown into a match with players that significantly exceeded our ranks. We were nowhere above ranked level 4, and most of us had just started out, and we matched against a team where nobody had a rank below 30. We were playing a game against players that literally exclusively played ranked, grinded it non-stop, and knew exactly what they were doing, and most of them were in silver while we were in bronze. I have no doubt that other players have also experienced this as well, and that definitely wouldn't happen if hidden MMR wasn't measured. And that's not just anecdotal from me. I found a good amount of Reddit threads talking about the horrible matchmaking within Ranked. I'll link that down below. All of this evidence I just laid out points to one thing: Ranked is rigged. Since EOMM uses hidden MMR to rig your matches in pubs, Ranked is definitely no different. It's not like Activision didn't also design the Ranked mode. Their intentions are exactly the same. The Ranked match that I described that I was playing, where my team was significantly outmatched, was not an even match. It wasn't designed to be even. These players didn't realistically belong in bronze and silver for how much they played Ranked, and for their level. This game was a result of us winning too much, and as a result, the algorithm threw us a match we were supposed to lose. Every time this happens, where you're thrown into a Ranked match where you're clearly outmatched by players, which happens more than it should within any Ranked mode, it's the EOMM abusing the hidden MMR-based system that's already initially horrible and in place, and then taking it to the next degree purely for player retention. So all I'm saying is, maybe don't play COD's Ranked mode. Sure, the competitive rule set is fun, playing the objective is a nice change of pace, and having 4 people on a team makes it easier to play with a full squad of friends, but if you think that climbing the ranks is actually fair, and each game already doesn't have some sort of predetermined outcome, whether it's designed to be even or tilted too much in one team's favor, take a step back and really question how the mode is designed. Call of Duty Ranked is very obviously designed exclusively for player retention, and as such, it's extremely prone to being rigged by the same EOMM algorithm that is already rigging our public matches. Here's the definitive conclusion for you. All the evidence. Do with it what you must. Call of Duty's Ranked mode goes against everything a Ranked mode should be. Improvement is punished with harder lobbies. Ranks don't have any meaning because anyone can get to any rank if they play enough, and you don't have any placement matches, which further takes away every rank's definition. All of these signs indisputably guarantee that COD's Ranked mode uses hidden MMR, which should never be present in any Ranked mode. This clearly indicates that Ranked is all about player retention, as it doesn't annoy bad players and have them get hard stuck in bronze, and it forces you to grind instead of having placement matches, making it so you have to spend significantly longer to get to your desired rank than you otherwise would have to do in a normal Ranked mode with placement matches. With the obvious desire for player retention comes the implication that they'd be stupid not to use the same form of matchmaking that breeds player retention in their public matches, EOMM. Not using EOMM would be foolish because it exactly aids them towards player retention, and there's no two ways about it. EOMM throws you predetermined match outcomes in order to breed player retention by slowing down your ranking process. More than enough Ranked players have noticed that their Ranked experience is so far from the norm, and that it takes longer to find matches the more that you're winning, and that they're matching far outside of their rank when it should be easy to find a match in your rank. The usage of EOMM in Ranked is backed up by Activision's obvious philosophy of player retention over competitive integrity, as we see in their public matches, and not only that, but the entire player experience in Ranked, which you can read about online, and Activision's history as a company, and how they've approached their matchmaking in the last 5 years' time. Since EOMM is an inherently rigged matchmaking algorithm that predetermines match outcomes, and it's being used in Ranked, this leads us to believe that Call of Duty's Ranked mode is rigged, and as a result, I'd recommend you stop playing it altogether until they fix it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Prime Pete. Take it easy.